Next question. Again, can you imagine though, like the lights dim down and
This is really a thing in your head.
I just always wanted to be on that show, and then I was like, who would I call? I was like a kid. I was like, I call my dad. All right. When does one need a coach? Ooh, this is good. Do you want to give a flippant answer or do you want to give a real answer?
You can start.
Oh, okay. Well, because the flippant answer would be like never or always, and then just
Or whenever you want.
Yeah, or whenever you want. Right? Yeah, you just move on. No, I think coaching can be very, very useful, and this is going to trigger the YouTubes,
Okay.
by the way, because I think
I'm ready.
Sure, I think it's going to help with the learning curve.
Oh.
We have an argument about like what does it mean to have a steep learning curve? Like, is that bad or good? And I think it's good because if it's steeper, that means you accumulate more knowledge faster. And then he's like,
That's not how anybody else uses the phrase.
sure, yeah, no, I get it. But people also say like have your cake and eat it too, and that's wrong. So it's like eat your cake and have it too. Anyway. That's for the next podcast. I think a coach can be useful if you are seeking guidance in an area where you don't have much experience or expertise. And I also think a coach can be useful at providing a more objective outsider's opinion on management of like programming and or nutrition and or other sort of lifestyle changes. Particularly, again, if they're an expert in that field and you don't happen to be one, or even if you do happen to be one, if you don't want to or don't have the current capacity to be objective about that. So, for example, I've been a coach now over 10 years, probably closer to 15 now, and I've had a coach for the last 10 years, the same coach for the last 10 years, Mike Teixeira. It's actually funny, he posted on his Instagram, he's like, somebody had asked him a question like, how has your programming changed over the last 10 years? He's like, I wish I could have talked to one of my clients from 10 years ago and like show them the differences. And I was like, Jordan has entered the chat. So I like sent him a screenshot of the very first program that he ever sent me, and it was kind of interesting how that's changed iteratively. But the benefits to having a coach is that they can provide expertise when you don't have it, and then kind of make your learning process or happen a little faster rather than you doing it by trial and error and not necessarily know like which way to go. It's not that you don't have any input into this, but it's that they kind of keep the constraints, keep the bumpers like you're bowling or whatever, somewhat narrow so that you don't go way far off the reservation. So I like it from that, from an expertise sort of standpoint. And then also if you need somebody to be more objective than you would otherwise be or currently have time to be, you can just take something off your plate. So that's it for me. That's why I like having a coach, is because I don't want to like analyze every single facet of my program, because one of two things are going to happen. Either one, I'm going to like perseverate over every single detail and then come up with some answer that I don't really know what to do next, and I'm kind of paralyzed with all this data, or I'm not going to use any data and I'm just going to wing it. And I'm not going to do something totally stupid because I just wouldn't train that way. But the idea that that would work well for me over the long term is probably is pretty unlikely. So, yeah, I think if you need some expertise and you need some outside assistance, I think having a coach is useful.
Yeah. As far to be strict with the question, when does one need a coach? Then yes, the flippant answer is never. You don't absolutely need one. There's a ton that can be done on your own, but there will probably be a lot more, as far as this trial and error process goes, probably be a lot more error that way. Compared to if you're working with somebody who has more experience, more expertise, and can take this more objective look at your programming. I've kind of been on and off getting some guidance over the course of my training career. Partially, I've had Jordan send me some programs over the years. I think the last time was probably with that ramp up to nationals in 2018. And then I was like, I'm gonna go by myself for a little while. And I trained for a while by myself again. And then sometimes I'll have some ache or pain flare up. It's like, damn, elbows are acting up again. And I'll talk to our rehab guys. Or a little over a year and a half ago, I was having some back symptoms, and I was like kind of annoyed with what was going on. So I went back to our rehab guys, and I talked with Charlie. And I was like, you're doing a bunch of cool bodybuilding bro stuff. Be all right with trying something like that for a short period of time. So we did a little of that for a little while. And then that program kind of iteratively morphed into this thing that, like I said, I've been doing more or less continuously ever since then. And once it morphed into that, I was like, I'm good to be back by myself for a while now, because I've just been doing the same week for a long time. But I just got, again, a little taste of an outside perspective, because I'm like, I'm not really a bodybuilder. He's more into the bodybuilding stuff. And so he threw together some stuff. I was like, this is fun for a short period of time, and then evolved back into more specific training that I'm into now. So I do think that if you feel like you are not sure what to do next, That's one situation. Or if you're interested in something different, that can be another situation where you can just get somebody else's perspective, all right? Because your creativity may run out. You may not know,
Sure.
how else you can structure things or try something. So I think that there's a bunch of places that a coach can come in handy, but I don't think, I wouldn't pitch it as like everybody absolutely must have a coach at all times watching every rep of every set.
No.
Unnecessary.
No. Yeah. I think I would prefer if everybody was able to like self-manage
Yeah.
and do everything on their own and get great outcomes. And I think a lot of people can. But some people are going to need a little bit extra help or want a little bit extra help, but that's fine too.
Yep.